Hey everybody, it's me, Gabby. I'm coming back again. I'm so inconsistent with these videos, but even though I'm not posting every single day like I said I wanted to, I still have hope and faith that this channel is gonna blow up and that the right people are gonna see it and that it's gonna be more organized. I feel like I just kind of talk out of my head whatever's on my mind at the moment, but it's real. So I feel like somebody's gonna come along and somebody's gonna see it and somebody's gonna feel it and it's gonna resonate with somebody. So anyways, what I've been thinking about now is, first of all, the last video I made, I was talking about how hard it is to be forgiving and how there's somebody in my life who I want to stab. And so forgive me for that because that is not right. And I kid you not, I believe either that same evening or maybe it was like the next day, I seen somebody breaking down basically why vengeance is the Lord, and basically the wickedness that'll come upon you for taking matters into your own hands and for listening to those evil spirits that are trying to convince you to, get out of your body, get out of your character, and do wrong to do harm to the person that you feel like has wronged you or spited you. And I'm like, wow, like that totally would be me. And that's me. Like, you're supposed to cast every thought, like every evil thought you're supposed to cast down. Like, you're not supposed to entertain those thoughts. And so I know that I'm I'm wrong for entertaining those thoughts and feeling like it's cool to want to stab people for them doing me wrong. Like, obviously I'm joking, but to a degree, no, I'm not. Like, honestly, if I didn't have God in my life as that barrier, I probably would have done something crazy, because sometimes people can hurt you that bad to where you feel like they deserve to be hurt. Like, especially when it seems like they just move on with their life willy-nilly, and like you feel like you're the one left to pick up the pieces and be the bigger person and try to heal and find all of this peace. And it's like, dang, like, and they just get to move on with their life. Like, God, come on, like, but our thoughts are not his thoughts. His ways are higher than ours. He sees the bigger picture. Like, he knows best, and we just have to have faith that God knows best and keep it pushing, honestly, because there's things that we have done that, like, if fair is fair, then there's things that we have done where people probably should have harmed us, honestly, and we probably shouldn't be living no more, in the ways that we've harmed other people. So I really hope I didn't, like, reinforce any wicked thoughts in anybody's head by saying all of that, but that was just really how I felt in the moment. And even today, today I'm pondering and thinking about how, I struggle to be single, not in the sense of like I struggle because I feel lonely. I'm gonna be honest, how I was moving, it was like, I had, I guess, somewhat of a roster, or what you would call, like, I wasn't lonely. Okay, I'm trying to sort my thoughts out. It was like, I feel like I was dealing with men out of boredom, not really loneliness, if that makes sense, because I enjoy my own company and I don't mind being alone, and I'm not really one of those people that feels like I need to be in a relationship. Some women, have this desperation, or where it's like they feel like there's a void in their life if they don't have a man to call their own. And I'm really not like that, but that's honestly just because I feel like I grew up used to men not wanting to be my boyfriend. So I just got accustomed to men honestly wanting to use me for my body and then keeping it pushing. So I kind of had trained myself to be able to not get emotionally attached even when there was sex involved. And honestly, it just created a monster, because as I got older and it got easier for me to talk to men, and men would pursue me and they didn't necessarily want to keep me a secret, and they were finding me attractive and things like that. It was like, okay, well, now I'm getting the attention, but also I'm like kind of cold-hearted in the sense that I can deal with the man and enjoy his company, but not get attached. And so I feel like I ended up hurting some men because maybe they expected things to be different than how they turned out, or maybe we even slept together and like I was the one who really like never wanted to talk to them again, or I wouldn't text back, or I wouldn't, and I would just kind of move on. And it wasn't even with the intention of being hurtful. It's just, I don't know, like honestly what I was used to. And so I guess that's why I'm so burnt up about this one dude, because there's only really one man in my life that I really fell in love, like actually fell in love with. And it's because when I met him, I was so used to, again, just so used to men wanting to use me, that when I met him and he didn't want to, and he was interested in who I was as a person, and he just respected me as a person, I fell in love. And we grew very close to each other. And he's somebody that, it's not like women was just taking their drawers off for him and throwing themselves at him. He's not really like, I mean, I find him really attractive because I know him, and he caught my eye, I guess, but he's not really like a looker, and I really hope that that's not offensive to anybody that may know him or any, like if he ever came across this video. But I'm just saying, according to like societal standards, he's not really a looker. He has the height, he kind of has like the build of a football player, but he's just, I don't know, he's just still not really like somebody that I feel like women would just break their neck to look at. And that's not even me saying that I feel like I'm necessarily somebody that men are breaking their necks to talk to, but believe it or not, when I put my clothes on and I go out, I really don't have no problem talking to men or men approaching me or anything like that. So, but nonetheless, I fell in love with him, and I just feel like it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of, just him being hot and cold. And the thing is because of his personality on the surface, him being a nice guy, him being educated kind of to himself, he's like a musician, he's really into art. Like, I was so used to dealing with dudes that was like, I don't know, thugs or like bad boys, or really just losers when it came to their character type, that I felt like I wasn't doing the wrong thing by putting all my eggs in that basket. I thought that I was doing the right thing by giving this person my all, and it come to find out after all these years, it's like, yeah, he really actually is like, just like, I don't know, it's like his emotions have been stunted, or like he's just immature in the sense that he enjoyed my company, and it felt like we were in a relationship, but when it came down to actually putting a label on things and actually moving forward, it was like he would always get cold feet. And I feel like I always was met with the excuse of him just not being ready, him not being the man he wants to be, yada yada yada. And I'm an understanding person, and that makes sense to me, especially because when we met we were 19. So it was like, if somebody tells you that at 19, it's like, okay, like that's understandable. Like but like here we are now, fast forward almost 10 years later. I mean, we're 28 years old, so it's like, yeah, I put in some time, I really invested my time, I feel like, in this person, whereas him, he was just kind of passing time with me. And so that's where my bitterness comes from, not necessarily from him not being ready, but it was like, knowing that you weren't ready, you still chose to deal with me, knowing how I was coming, knowing that I was genuine, knowing that I was really in love with you, and knowing that I wasn't, that I was taking all of this seriously, and And so that's why I get kind of tight when I think about that. But I know that um, I'm called to forgive him, period, point blank. And I know I'm like beating a dead horse because I feel like I keep talking about that, but that's where I'm at in my life right now. Like, that is one of the things that just weighs really heavily on my heart, and I feel like the enemy is really using this like to keep me bound in unforgiveness. And I heard somebody say the other day that a lot of self-proclaimed Christians are honestly, they're on their way to hell due to unforgiveness, you know. Yeah, I mean, whether they call themselves a Christian or not, like, so many people just just hold on to things, you know. And what's crazy is that if a lot of times if you hear people's story, it's like, hey, I get it. Like, I probably would hate that person too, honestly, you know, speaking just human to human, person to person. But you know, I know that I'm called to greater than that. And so while it sucks to like have to be the bigger person and be, you know, forgiving, and that's what I'm supposed to do at the end of the day, because, you know, the Lord has forgiven me, so I need to extend that. That doesn't mean that anybody who's hurt you, you have to let them back into your life for them to be able to hurt you again, but we are called to forgive. And so that's where I'm at. But you know, I was thinking about how, you know, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and I don't want to say it's not rewarding, but man, sometimes it's like the enemy will just dangle your old lifestyle in front of you like a carrot. And it's like, I miss stuff like riding around and smoking weed, even though it's like I'm not smoking. And I'm so proud of myself that I passed this drug test for the nursing program that I got accepted into, and I didn't have to use anybody else's pee. I didn't have to buy any fake pee or anything like that. That may not sound like a big deal to you, but that is a big deal to me, because I always was that person that like, hey, you know, have your kid pee in this cup, or like ask my mom to pee in a cup or something like that, because I could never use my own urine because it was always dirty. But so I'm a few months sober, and I'm really proud of myself for that. And in Jesus' name, I'm going to continue on in sobriety. But sometimes I miss that. Like, so I'm not even gonna lie, sometimes I miss smoking, sometimes I miss fornicating, because honestly, like, some people, like some women have like slept around and they have like all of these horror stories, and I have my fair share of horror stories, trust me, I do. But I feel like as I got older, I was able to like vet men better. And I know this sounds crazy, because it's like no man that's like fornicating with you and sleeping with you but doesn't really want to commit to you is really like, you know, a great guy. But I have met men that were decent, you know, they weren't like bad guys. And I enjoyed their company. I feel like my mom's rushing me to come in. She's standing. I bought some garlic bread for her to make spaghetti, and I'm talking just because I'm in the mood to talk right now. She might be looking like, girl, hurry up with this garlic bread. I hate when people rush me, even if I am taking a long time. So, but anyways, they were decent dudes. And I feel like they was decent guys. And sometimes I miss that. Like, I missed having a dude to call, and I knew we would just kick it, have a decent time, and then do what we do, and then he go his way and I go mine. And you know what I mean? But even though I was satisfied with that to a degree, where I couldn't find peace was knowing that this is wrong in the eyes of God. Whether me and the dude was cool and had an agreement or not, it's like, at the end of the day, this is sin. I'm sleeping with a man that's not my husband, and this is not what God called me to do. This is not the type of woman that God called me to be. And so that's where I couldn't find peace at the end of the day. And so I had to cut all of that out. But sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I wonder, sometimes it feels like you're doing the right thing and you're not really seeing the fruits of your labor yet. So you feel like, man, I might as well just go back to whatever else. But I'm telling you, that is the devil speaking to you. Don't listen, don't go back. And so anyways, I gotta go because I'm getting rushed about some garlic bread. But I'll be back soon. I'm gonna keep going, and I'll probably keep talking on this subject because I'm not as deep into it as I would like to go. So yeah. Anyways, God bless you. Talk to you later.